Welcome back to the Hustle Detox, Module 1, Understanding. This is our third video and final video for Module 1. So just checking in with you, the first couple of worksheets about where you are starting your journey here, recognising what your intention for the program is. We would love you to share your intentions in the group if you would like to share. There's a post there inviting you to do just that. Please share what your intention for the program is. We would love to cheer you all on. So what we're going to be talking about today as part of this video is we're going to be exploring a little bit about how we want to prepare ourselves for stepping forward into a life that is less hustled, where we're embracing slow more often and that we're setting really strong boundaries. To do that, having a really clear understanding of where we feel we need space is also really important. So I'm going to jump back over to the slides so that we can really explore this concept of space. And so jumping over here, we're talking about physical, emotional, mental and spiritual space. Now you'll find that over the course of the program, Mish and I will explore a number of concepts from physical, emotional, mental and spiritual approaches or themes or springs of well-being. In the work that I do with people on rest and renewal, I will talk to people about rest and feeling renewed in each of these 4 elements of energy. Mish is going to be touching with you more on that topic later in the program. But what I want to invite you to think about here is actually this concept of decluttering. We've heard a lot about it. It's very, very topical right now, but there's a reason why, and it's because how you surround yourself physically and what you fill your heart with, your soul with your mind, all of that has an impact on how you show up in the world. So how are you showing up in the world? Are you surrounded by all of the clutter that you're carrying with you? Are you carrying emotional clutter? Are you, and I've alluded to this in the previous videos, but are you carrying with you any of the hurt, the confusion, the anger that might be attached to previous relationships, to friendships that are not serving you, where you feel poor about yourself or badly about yourself or more self-conscious? That sort of emotional clutter is something that we take with us regardless of our physical surroundings. So remember, when it comes to decluttering, this is an extension for you to really understand the spaces that you inhabit. And that is your physical space. You know, that second drawer in the kitchen is always a really rewarding place to start. But things like your sleeping space. I share so much of the hustle detox that I went through in my life was learning to sleep well again, to give myself permission to go to bed earlier, to be sleeping for 7.5 to 8 hours every night, because that was something that I felt I could do without. But in decluttering your bedroom or sleeping space, you can actually create a beautiful haven that facilitates and allows you to embrace the concept of sleep. So my suggestion when it comes to physical decluttering is perhaps look at the space where you rest. Look at the space where you work. Look at the space where you spend most of the time in your home, whether that's your lounge room, whether that's your kitchen, whether it's the spaces outside. It can be very satisfying, but also really freeing to clear physical clutter, to clear emotional clutter. When I talk about spiritual clutter and allowing yourself permission to feel more energy and more space, which is all part of detoxing from hustle, when it comes to the spiritual element of your life, what I'm talking about are self-limiting beliefs. Now, self-limiting beliefs, beliefs that you hold about who you are as a person, whether you are or are not good enough, whether you are over responsible for everyone's happiness around you and under responsible for your own, whether you see through a lens of achievement and that I am only valuable or I am only special or honoured or loved if I'm achieving. If you are, like me, a recovering perfectionist or very conscious of perfectionist tendencies that you might have, there might be beliefs that I have to be perfect in order to achieve what I want to. Whatever your beliefs might be, just know that there are always going to be beliefs that serve you and beliefs that really do not. The hustle detox is about starting to flesh those beliefs out. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we start the process of reprogramming those, at least by replacing them and reframing them with beliefs that will support the detox that we're doing right now. So note down anything that comes up for you in the following days before next week around what do you truly believe about yourself? Do you believe that you are worthy? Do you believe that rest is important? Or does your whole body reject the concept of rest by telling you that rest is for people who are lazy, or that rest is laziness, or that I have to keep going because that's how I create my value in the world? That's how I need to achieve. Just notice where you feel that you're creating clutter in your life spiritually by holding on to limiting beliefs. Now, sometimes these can be really hard to identify, but when you find yourself using the word should in your life, it's often associated with a limiting belief. I really should do that. Why? What would happen if you didn't? Why should you? Why shouldn't you? And uncovering the answers to those questions can help you uncover self-limiting beliefs. Mental clutter, decluttering that can allow you to feel less hustled. Hands up, who is an options person, likes to have all the options out in front of them in the world. This might translate to lots of different tabs open at the one time on your computer. I'm going to put my hand up here. This is something that I'm trying really hard not to do. But mental clutter can come from just too much information coming in at once. Sometimes it's about the wrong information coming in for you, or information that doesn't feel joyous. Learning something new that's unrelated to your work or the caring responsibilities that you have in your life can actually give you energy, and it can actually be a process of rest. But if what you have coming in is exhausting, then it can create a lot of mental clutter and not much space, and certainly not much space for rest and renewal and reducing hustle. So I invite you to check in on where the clutter is. This is a period of self-inquiry for you. Notice the beliefs, notice the mental load, notice the emotional connection or disconnection, or where you're feeling like you're not supported in your emotional connections. And of course, notice the physical clutter that's around you as well. Now I want to introduce you, and to finish module 1, to this concept of the slow revolution. This was something that started in Italy and of course began with things like slow food. But slow food, the concept of sitting to enjoy a meal simply for the joy of eating with loved ones, savouring food. This is a process of mindfulness. So this is an invitation to you to understand where in your life you might be able to embrace a more slow revolution for your own life. Is it in how you prepare food? If you're like me with toddlers, this is not going to be an area necessarily where you can embrace the slow revolution, but you might be able to do it in other ways. If you feel the push towards exercise that is fast and furious and go, 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 it's not always great for your adrenals. It might be great for your cardio, but at the end of the day, slow movement is also something where you can embrace the hustle detox. Yoga, Tai Chi, slow, beautiful stretching when you get up in the morning. This is all part of the intentionality that we're building here at the Hustle Detox. Others have spoken about the slow revolution being embraced in things like slow work and workplaces, slow cities. We have these in Australia, certainly they're all over Europe, where people are reducing the amount of traffic. And cities are, I should say, councils are reducing the amount of traffic, the amount of large chain stores, favouring farmers markets and smaller providers that are family businesses. But other things that you can slow down. Slow, intimate physical relationships with your partners. And I say partners to you as a collective, not necessarily that you have multiple partners. Slow sex, it's an invitation not to rush through things, even though sometimes you might be feeling completely exhausted. So the slow revolution can be about connection. Slow sex is no different to that. Slow food is no different to that. Slow movement is no different to that. It's bringing, and I'm inviting you to bring an intentionality around an area of your life where you might be able to embrace the slow revolution. It might be opting out of audiobooks for a little while, to go back to the joyous feeling on, and even the smell of real books. Now, I know audiobooks take their place, have their place. And often when you're driving in the mornings, you can't obviously be reading a book behind the wheel. But where you can, where can you embrace this? And what do you learn from slowing down? When we deliberately and mindfully embrace slow, we are giving ourselves permission to fully be present in that moment. And when you realize you're not thinking about what's happened before, you're not thinking about what's coming, you're actually able to be more present, and you're able to bring that presence into other elements of your life. Understanding where you would like to embrace slow and embrace mindfulness in this way can be a really pivotal moment for you on your path to detoxing the hustle. Try it on. Have a bit of an experiment with the slow revolution and share with us in the Facebook group, in the Hustle Detoxes, which area you have decided to embrace when it comes to the slow revolution. We'd love to hear what you've savoured more deeply and what you've understood. So what we've covered here in Module 1 is about redefining what hustle means. We are not talking about the hustle that you might need to finish a project and then recover, or the ebbs and flows that come with a normal everyday life with family and friends and work. We're talking about hustle that is jostling hard or being busy for the sake of being busy. We have now a greater understanding of how we live and work, where we are starting in terms of our intention, where we feel the clutter. And we've invited you to think about how you want to feel. Is it centered? Is it focused? Is it less frantic? Understanding how you want to feel is really going to serve you strongly in moving into the second module, in exploring how we're going to move or what we're going to move towards. Also inviting you to do the Wheel of Life exercise, but also decluttering your space, and your space emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually, and also embracing the slow revolution. So in doing so, I want you to check into the commitment that you've made to change your life. How are you feeling about that commitment? How are you feeling about your intention for the Hustle Detox? And I'd love to hear how that is going to carry over into Module 2. So what comes next? Next week, we're going to be releasing Module 2. We're going to focus on things like your personal values, your personal vision for yourself and your life. I'm going to introduce rest and renewal to you and my concept and the niche that I work in. Meditation for modern life, I'm going to touch on that, and you're going to get a taste of that each week. The concept of flow and life leadership. I'm really excited to help you with banishing busy and embracing flow. I'll see you in the next lot of videos, and I can't wait to hear all the lessons that you're going to share in the Facebook group. Bye for now.